Hello, Ryan here, and today I want to talk about, obviously, again, medical cannabis. Because I was like watching some debates and stuff, like whether it should be legal or not, you know, that kind of shit. And I just like, they always have these debates about like, yeah, it should be legal. Who do we want cannabis? You know, where do we want this to be in the hands of, like criminals or responsible people? It's just obviously I'd say legalise, but when you hear the debates, it just makes you think, like, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be a debate. You know, we should have the freedom to put whatever we want in our body, especially if it's for good reasons or any reason. We should have the full freedom. Yeah, we should be able to do anything, really. I mean, I know anyone people can abuse, blah, blah, blah. Not everyone will, though. Like, it's like sugary foods in the stores and stuff like that, you know, like fucking chocolate and stuff like that. That's available to us. There's a massive handful of people that abuse that, and they end up having diabetes and all sorts of diseases. Same with meat, same with, you know, a lot of things in the industry. Even alcohol, for one, you know, that's legal. And there's loads of people that have struggled with addiction, and, you know, but the difference is, these things cause serious issues, like can cause death and all these other problems, and they're debating over a plant that hasn't killed a single person. And if you abuse it, yeah, you'll probably get paranoid, maybe anxiety and stuff, but fucking up that compared to death, and the one that kills you, they're like, yeah, you're allowed that. It's alright, mate, that's fine. But sorry, you know, I would rather, say if I had kids in the future, I'd rather them be put in a world where, if they do, because obviously we all get tempted, we all get like curious and stuff like that. I'd rather the options to be out there are things that you ain't gonna die from. Like, I'd rather if I had kids and there was like 18 or like teenager and they started doing like, you know, trying new things and stuff like that, because we all do it. I'd rather them, obviously not as like a young teen, because obviously it's not good for the young developing brain, but for like, if they was to like be tempted to try anything, like, I would prefer them to try, you know, like, oh, it'd be nice if there was like safer options instead of like the stuff that's legal today. It's like, if you have epilepsy, you go doctors or hospital or whatever, and you get prescribed a drug that, you know, it's harmful, it's filled with chemicals, it's man-made, it's, you know, has terrible side effects sometimes. You know, it can kill you as well, you can overdose. You know, that isn't a good sign. For one, we've got receptors in our body. You know, like, we've got more receptors than the receptors that control serotonin, I think it is. Because the fact is, the reason we have these cannabinoid receptors is because we've been, like, in the past, thousands and thousands of years, probably like 5,000 years or so, probably onwards, I don't know, we've consumed cannabis. So our bodies have adapted to consume cannabis. And obviously we've used it for thousands of years for medical reasons and, you know, materials and all sorts of stuff. And then suddenly, like, now they say, well, not now, but obviously a few decades ago, they're like, I think it was the 70s, wasn't it? Or was it before that? I can't remember now, when they demonised it, you know, started pointing out fake stories, demonised it all, fucking propaganda, lies, and then everyone was like all gullible, because that's what the government are good at, making everyone their puppets. And you know, then obviously technology advanced, you know, it wasn't no longer in books and stuff, you know, everything was on the internet, so truth came out. And, you know, like, a lot of people are still like sheep and they're still asleep, but like, it's ridiculous. Like, when you hear people debating about it, it's just like, it shouldn't be a debate. It can cure, I'm not saying it's a cure for cancer, but it has cured cancer. Like, it has, in some people, not everyone, in a big majority of people, it has cured cancer. When they've, especially, I've seen stories where, like, people have been told they have like so many weeks to live, or so many months to live. I think one of them, I swear it was so many weeks to live. Sounds unbelievable, but yeah, they had cannabis oil, and then they went back to the hospital and had to do a scan or whatever on the lungs or whatever it was. I think it was lung cancer, I'm not sure. And it was a young boy, I think he was like 13 or something, and it had completely gone. And the doctors and stuff or whatever, they were shocked. They couldn't believe it. It was like a miracle. And obviously, and they found out that obviously because the mother was obviously scared, you know, she was running out of options. She didn't obviously want to lose a boy, So she looked online, she looked into cannabis oil, and and took it from there. And obviously, got in touch with someone, not like a drug dealer. I think his name was Thompson or Timpson or something. She got in touch with him, and he does cannabis oil for people with cancer, like patients and stuff. And he was saved. Like the saying goes for me, like, I can't remember what it was now. It was something like, think about somebody out there is basically I can't remember. It's something to do. I think it was to do with alcohol. It was like someone out there's, abusing something. On the other hand, cannabis has saved a life today. And I just don't get why there's so much debate about it. Like I smoked weed for like 4 years straight, and the high, like, when did they debate it so much? Like, if you was not a non-weed smoker and you've never smoked it, you'd think like, shit, I'm not doing that. It sounds like it's, because they make it sound like you're not capable of, like, being in society and you can't fit in while you're weed. It doesn't fit in society. But sorry, I think weed fits in more in society than alcohol ever did. I mean, alcohol makes you confident, yeah, but it makes you an arsehole sometimes. Not me. I mean, when I'm drunk, I'm quite chilled out, and I have a laugh, and more in a good mood, good vibes. But it not for everyone. Most people are just twats. Sorry about my language, but they are. Like, there's more bad cases with alcohol. Waste so much police time than weed will ever do. Like, I know obviously it's not for everyone. I'm not going to be all pros here and be like, oh yeah, weed's amazing, it's a miracle drug. Like, it is a miracle, like, I ain't gonna lie, but obviously it's not for everyone. Like, somebody could have it and they might have anxiety, but then I'd say you probably, if you do have weed and it gives you paranoia or anxiety, I'd say have CBD, don't have THC, or have a 1-to-1. Don't have more THC than CBD. Like, THC probably just doesn't work with you, or maybe your mind at the current time that you're in the current state of mind that you're in, you're not ready for it. Like, because some people, they will have it and it makes them anxiety and stuff, and then they'll go for like a spiritual awakening or whatnot, and they'll clear their head, clear the thoughts, and they'll start to change the way their negative mind works and turn it into positive, and they'll start going on track. And then if they smoked it, they'll have a pleasant experience, because there's no, because obviously weed amplifies what you're feeling, like, in a way. So if you're, well, obviously I've been really feeling shit for, like, to do with a breakup and that, and I used to have anxiety and all sorts, and I used to smoke, but it didn't do that to me, probably because when I used to smoke, I didn't sit there and think about the negative things. I tried looking for because obviously to me it made me think positive. It made me put my mind in a positive state, so then I could think positive. So when I used to get high, I used to think about when I was in a break. I remember I was sat in my mate's car, we hotboxed it, and obviously I think I literally just broke up. I broke up with my girlfriend. She cheated on me and that, and I was feeling shit. As soon as I smoked, that's it. I was like having a laugh with him and that, and then I was just like, you know what? I don't know what I'm upset for. Like, she did me dirty, blah blah blah, and I came to a whole realization, and it changed my perspective. And since then, like, I was like, the day after that, I didn't feel sad or anything. It was really weird. It's like I just reset my brain in a way. And something like as powerful as that, something that can have profound effects if used responsibly and the right age, under the right guidelines, I just don't see why they debate. There's no point in debating about it. Just legalise it. Free the weed. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's just ridiculous. And then all these people that are debating and stuff, I bet they go home and they'll probably fucking happily have a glass of wine and, have their little 6-pack of fucking Budweiser and all sorts like that. It's just, I mean, I'm not being anti-alcohol. Like, I'm saying, like, I think you should be allowed to do anything, as long as you're responsible. But, like, that's up to you. Like, if somebody fucks up because they're doing something like, say, drinking or whatever, not everyone's going to be responsible. Some people just don't know what they're getting themselves into. Like, that's up to us to understand, like, thingy. But at least with weed, it's not, like, addictive. I mean, it can be mentally addictive. Like, you can, like, depend on it, and, you can get into a habit and stuff like that, and you get withdrawals and stuff like that. But I'd rather have all that than fucking die. I mean, obviously I'm not going to drink and die, but you don't know what could happen. I used to drink a lot when I was younger, like, a bit younger anyway, because obviously I was probably when I was like mid-teens. Used to go out drinking with my mates and stuff, and I got to a point where I was drinking on my own. Like, I used to sit indoors, and I used to buy like a crate, and I used to just drink. And then I realised that it used to just, after like the next day or next few days, it used to make me feel really down and depressed. And obviously I started testing out cannabis because I looked into it. Me and my mate, we started smoking that, and ever since then I stopped drinking. Well, I used to still drink every now and then, but it wasn't really for me anymore. And over the years, like now, I ain't drinking over like a year or two or whatever it was, because it's just not for me anymore. I just don't see the point. But obviously I would drink, obviously, if I had the right occasion for it, like, because there's no harm in it as long as you don't abuse it. Same with anything, really, you know what I mean? Like weed, it should be legal. Like if you abuse it, that's your problem. That shouldn't punish everyone else, because there's people out there that need it. There's people out there that actually need it to survive, need it to live, and if they don't take this, they're gone. Like, just think about that. It's not about you, it's about everyone else. If people want to smoke it recreationally and potentially have anxiety and stuff, and mental health like rises and stuff, which it won't rise a lot, it'll probably actually decrease. But you know, if it was regulated and stuff, and then people did have anxiety and it didn't match for them, then the doctors could go, right, okay, we'll give you CBD, and then it will counter all that, and they can start again. You know, it's just,
I'm not sure I understand.
well, hopefully people on here will. Like, hang on, I hate that. I swear it always happens now lately. Siri always like gets activated. Mad woman. But yeah, I can't remember what I was saying now. But yeah, like, it's crazy. Like, I just don't, I like watching the debates because I like to see other people's perspectives, and then you always get that like ignorant person that's just like, no, it's bad, you know, people shouldn't be doing drugs, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, either way, people will get their hands on it. I'd love, and then you'll have them people going, well, don't smoke it then. It's just like, excuse me, I've got receptors in my body, I've got anxiety, I've got all these pains or whatever, I've got this, that, and everything else. I don't want to go to a doctor and get prescribed something that could potentially harm me. You know, like, some people use weed like the vegans, like the vegetarians and stuff, because it's natural. It's a plant, you don't have to tamper with it. Obviously, some people do, but you just grow it with a bit of sunlight, bit of heat, bit of tropical weather, whatever you want to call it, and then boom, for a couple of weeks, max, you clip it, you dry it, you smoke it, you put it in food, you turn it into oils, you do whatever, and it benefits your body somehow. Even if it gives you anxiety, and even if it doesn't agree with your body, it's still going to do something positive. It's going to improve your immune system, it's going to do all this. But if it doesn't make it give you anxiety, like I said, CBD, do your research. You know, like, we just live in a world where we get treated like kids. We get treated like, the whole society gets treated like kids, and the government are just looking down on us like we're in a box. It's just like, just free everything. You know, drugs are going to be available no matter what, even if you keep it illegal or not. Like, at least then, if it's in the hands with responsible people and they did legalise it, at least then, like, you have information, you can get educated, and, like, you know, because like, a lot of people that overdose on drugs and stuff, it's because they're not educated. They just do it because they think they're cool, or they just do it because, obviously, they just get off a dealer. Like, they don't care, they just want money. But at least then, if you go to a shop or something, like, and you go, yeah, I've got a bad migraines and stuff, like, can you help me out? Like, what would you recommend? And then they'll go, yeah, come over here, we'll show you these hybrid strains, blah, 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 blah. This one, we've had good reviews, good thingy. Like, it'd be brilliant. That's all they need, is people to educate. Like, I know, obviously, they know all this. The government know. They don't want to do it, though, because it's fucking so beneficial. Honestly. It puts your body at such balance. Like, because we have cannabinoid receptors, and obviously we can have an imbalance, and that's why we get stressed, we can't sleep, we do all this weird stuff with our mind, you know, we'll go downhill, we have a phase where we just feel low and all that stuff, and, you know, you get stressed, all that, you know, that's what cannabis controls, that's what receptors controls, it's like, it's all in your brain, and then, you know, it puts you at balance. So, all I gotta say to these people that debate about it, anti-people and stuff, just like, let people decide for themselves. And the facts are there, you can't deny it anymore. You know, the propaganda it's in the past. We live in a day and age now where we get the truth right in front of our faces. So there's no point sitting there going, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Yeah, some ignorant bastards are going to listen and think, yeah, see. But at the end of the day, this is for experience and from what I've seen in other people. Well, someone come up behind me then. So, you know, you can't hide the truth. It's out there. Just let people, educate people the right way. Stop making people ignorant. And, you know, just tell them the truth. Like, You know, you don't see them doing this with alcohol, do you, having a debate? God, if I had a debate about alcohol, Jesus, like, obviously I'd say, yeah, legal, like, keep it legalised and stuff, but fucking hell, if they keep a plant illegal that potentially cures cancer and epilepsy and multiple sclerosis and all this shit, like, how sick do you have to be to keep that away from people that need it? And I know obviously medically they're legalising it and stuff, but I've heard that apparently it's still hard to get. Like, they prescribe you all this other shit and then it's like last resort. Why? It should be fucking first resort. Like, it's fucking mental. Sorry about all the language. But like, medical cannabis is one of the topics it just winds me up with people. Like, it's a plant, just let it be free. They're literally putting cuffs on a plant that literally saves lives. It reminds me of Batman, it does, it really does. Like, he sits there, like Batman, he fights justice, you know, he does the job for the police, basically, yet he's a criminal, isn't he? Like, in the police side, you know, they're still after Batman, even though he's fighting crime. That's what it's like. It's like, you know, weed is saving people's lives, it's doing so much good. Obviously, you're going to get them little negatives and the cons to it, but you get that with everything, especially if you abuse it. If I ate at McDonald's every day for the rest of my life and I abused it, I'll probably knock off like 30 years of my life. I just won't feel great. If I drank every day, got drunk every single day of my life, I'll probably knock another 30 years of my life. Like, it's not guaranteed. Like, I know some people smoke cigarettes, for instance, and like, they'll be fine, but it's just, there's a risk to it. Cannabis, like, I know when people say, yeah, but you can have, what's it called, schizophrenia. It's like, you know, weed doesn't give you schizophrenia. If you're predisposed, basically, if you've already got it, it can activate it and bring it out. So therefore, it's, you know, but you can have tests, surely, that, you know, if you've got, like, it in your family and stuff, like, they can see, if you've got it in your family, like, in the past, like, past generations and stuff, they'll probably, yeah, this is probably not recommended for you, you can have CBD. You know, it's just, people just need to grow up, stop getting stuck in a belief system, think for themselves, and think, you know what, I'm not going to listen to what my parents said or what the government said, I'm just going to do my own research, think for myself. That's what I did. And it's a nice feeling, but it's also annoying because you have to put up with all the ignorant twats around, you know, the ones that just sit there and, you know, come up with the same stories. Oh, it destroys your brain, it does this, does that. It's just like, what, are you in the 50s? Are you in the 70s, mate? It doesn't do that. It protects your brain. You know, it's just like, fucking hell, it's right there in front of you. Before you have an opinion, just, you know, relearn. Because what you've obviously learned is from your parents and your grandparents and stuff, but there was an age where they fucking made up a whole propaganda. Like, honestly, if you looked at the past and why it became illegal, you'd think, oh, okay. It's to do with racism, I think. When it's to do with, like, the Mexicans and stuff, the Americans, they wanted the reason, you know, to get at the Mexicans, so, you know, they knew the Mexicans smoked a lot of weed, so I think they made up stories that the Mexicans are going around raping women and stuff like that, and that's what weed made you crazy, violent and stuff. It's like, does it? It's weird that innit? That's what made it illegal, yet weed's now known to make you relaxed and calm and, you know, and more connected to just music and just more connected. So, like, yeah, people still go say it should be illegal and stuff, but the reason why it became illegal, it's just so outdated because we know it doesn't do that. I mean, obviously people have never smoked it and never looked into it, they'll probably think, yeah, it would, but they can't have an opinion, really, because they haven't experienced it. They don't know. I mean, not saying you can't have an opinion if you've never smoked it, but at least do your research and don't hold on to information that you heard from growing up or the government has said, because that's not your opinion. You're basing your opinions on what you've researched and stuff. But I know a lot of people as well that do research, and they'll basically, in their mind, they'll look for the negatives, because in the back of their mind, you know, they've been taught that it's bad, so they'll look for the bad, and they'll go, look, see anxiety, look, it does this, oh, it does that. And it's just like, yeah, caffeine gives you anxiety if you have too much, gives you heart palpitations, you know, having too much fucking alcohol causes you can have alcohol poisoning and die and stuff. But I'm not going to highlight that, you know. If you drink alcohol, there's pros and cons. Apart from, you know, the negatives can be quite serious. Like with weed, the pros outweigh the cons. And like I said, if it's not for everyone, try CBD. You're sorted. That's it. Like, that's all I really got to say, really. Because obviously I was just watching some debate videos and I just thought I had to say something. So yeah, I'll probably see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. I might make a new YouTube at some point, like just talking and maybe doing more edits and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see. If anyone sees it, and just drop a comment, see what you think and stuff like that. But yeah, I suppose I'll catch you in the next video.